to get up 15.
Nevertheless, I didn't manage to find a contract SDV6 engine during my abortive attempts. I still needed to find a solution for my metal particles problem. As you remember, we found a salvation in the iMagnet additive, which became a true discovery for me. Gentlemen, here comes the long-awaited episode, telling us what was going on with our pretty expensive little friend. As you know, the iMagnet additive was poured into this engine, which consequently led to some interesting results. Something strange happened with the fuel consumption. It differs a lot from the passport data now. I would like to tell you a gruesome story. It began in winter, when I was sold out, according to the public opinion, and bought this Range Rover. My life has changed a lot since that time and will never be the same again. I realized what, for example, the brake pads for 25,000 rubles are. I found out how it feels to buy the brake discs for 43,000 rubles and fulfill a light version of general inspection for 70,000 rubles. Due to this fact, the importance of some aspects in my life has changed. I understood the advantages of being penny-wise. There were also a problem with the engine during the test, as you remember. So, I started asking myself what the advantages of possessing Range Rover were, except for comfort and status. Speaking about comfort, we are driving on the Earth road at the moment, so let's try to do something with it. No, I think it only got worse. I found out that the car usually consuming 6.8 liters according to the passport data is capable of reducing this figure down to 4.8 liters on a highway. It may seem strange at first, or even impossible, as this car weighs 2,200 kilograms, has 300 horsepower and a 3 liters diesel engine with 2 turbines. It looks doubtful that this car is capable of consuming the same amount of fuel as, for example, Skoda Rapid or even the economical and eco-friendly Toyota Prius. We have fulfilled our own test to prove you this fact. What we are trying to do? We reach the speed of 90 km per hour and turn on cruise control. Then we remove the leg from pedal and take a look at the trip computer. We neither change the speed nor touch the pedal, but just driving on the middle line. Our opponents, Toyota Prius and Skoda Rapid, are right behind us. We fulfill this test in order to find out whether the fuel consumption has reduced. It was around 9 liters and it keeps the same now. We are driving against the wind, so the fuel consumption level might be higher. We reach the road junction, turn around and come back the same way. Then we look at the resulting figures taken from all three cars. Toyota Prius is a current leader with 5.5 liters of fuel consumption. Range Rover shows higher figures, but it will be gradually reducing, and we will beat Toyota eventually.
And you took me places farther than I could go. I know I saw you over there, and I knew no other man could ever compare.
Why have we decided to fulfill such a test? There is a modern type of motor oil usually called energy-saving oils. They produce a very thin layer in order to make engines spend less energy for oil steering, while piston ring is moving along the piston ball. Thus, you get a reduced idling fuel consumption, like many TSI engines today, 0.5 or even 0.4. As you remember, TSI engines usually use Castrol 5W30, if I'm not mistaken, in order to protect the environment. The level of fuel consumption influences the amount of emissions, but there is also a problem.
То есть это все общий расход, а расход это, сами понимаете, это выброс вредных веществ в атмосферу сокращается и так далее, и так далее, и так далее. Ваши расходы, опять же, стоимость владения автомобилем уменьшается. Все это очень приятно. Но есть вот такой вот неприятный...
As energy-saving oils produce a very thin layer, it may become too thin in some cases. You can check the results of our last Castrol oil test in VMP Auto's laboratory. If the layer gets thinner, the piston ring gets into direct contact with the piston ball without any lubrication, and here come the problems. Problems with oil burning arise in the TSI engines. In case of our Range Rover, we had that metal particles problem. The iMagnet P14 was developed in order to prevent your engine from such cases. What we see now is that iMagnet P14 reduces consumption of fuel, which is not stated in the instruction. Frankly speaking, this is because a full-scale testing of product is taking place at the moment. Surely, there were some experiments in laboratories, but they were not fulfilled on cars under such conditions. We have been driving all this time with a switched-on cruise control, and the level of fuel consumption is 5.6 liters now, and is still decreasing. The total length of the distance is around 13 kilometers. This is the stretch of our measurements. In the meanwhile, the camera in Toyota Prius is showing 5 liters of fuel consumption. From my point of view, if the distance was around 80 kilometers, the consumption would eventually increase up to 6 or even 7 liters. But this is how it works on short distances. At the same time, Skoda Rapid showed a lot worse results. The fuel consumption on a zeroed-out counter instantly increased up to 14 liters and didn't go any lower during the test. Personally, I think that if we could drive our Skoda on a longer distance, its consumption level would also be 5.5 liters. If we continue driving this way for 50 kilometers, the fuel consumption will decrease down to 4.5 liters, which is amazing for such type of car and my little budget, by the way. It is not only about my personal interest. Even a richer owner of the car would be glad to save fuel the same way. There would be no need to refuel your car every day, as the BMW owners do.
Долбаные хозяева BMW M5 и SRT.
The results are amazing. Toyota Prius has shown 5 liters on 100 kilometers, as does Skoda Rapid.
Около 5 литров, но, естественно, тоже массой тонны с хвостиком и 100 с плюсом лошадиными силами.
We should keep in mind, though, that both these cars drove behind 300 horsepower Range Rover. I am satisfied with these figures, as I could buy VW Polo or Toyota Yaris, but decided to make the right choice.
Очень доволен расходом в 5 литров. То есть я, в принципе, мог купить какой-нибудь себе там полуседан, я мог купить себе Toyota Yaris, но я сделал правильный выбор. У меня 300.
Now, I have a premium class car with a turbo engine and the same level of fuel consumption. I can afford using this car, paying for the fuel as for a bus pass.
Проездного на автобус за месяц, не более. Честно говоря, я очень доволен. Поэтому, если вы малоимущий отец,
Thus, if you have a low income, I recommend you this Range Rover with iMagnet P14. To conclude this episode, I want to wish you a good luck. Follow us on YouTube. Goodbye.
Наш максимально непродажный выпуск. И я желаю вам удачи, следите за нашими новыми сериями. И пока.